Good morning, everyone. My name is Angela. I am the Executive Director of North LA. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just wanted to remind everybody what the performance contract is. It is an annual agreement that each regional center does have with the Department of Developmental Services. It sets measurable goals in compliance and ensures that we are working on public policy priorities as well as local community needs. It is our mechanism for ensuring public accountability. Just as a reminder, on June 3rd of this year, we already hosted a meeting where I went over this data in a public forum on 2 different occasions. So for the sake of not being redundant, I will not be going over the data in the performance contract in this particular meeting. What I will be going over is the activities to address and measure the goals that have been prescribed. Also, as a reminder, on the June 3rd meeting, we did actually get a lot of feedback from our community. We want to thank the community for providing their input. Their input was definitely considered and have been included in a lot of these activities along with our staff's input as well. So I will be going over those. If you see on slide 1, in this particular measure, what it is measuring is the number and percentage of minors living with families. The goal is to maintain the percentage of children who reside in a home setting. We understand that sometimes some children may have to enter into different scenarios for the time being. So even if they're in foster care, it is critical for us that they still reside in a home setting. So the activities that the community and our team came up with to continuously make improvement towards this goal is enhanced training for service coordinators. It's really, really important to ensure that our service coordinators know how to support families when maintaining children in the family home. We are also providing our service coordinators with continuous training to enhance their case management and person-centered assessment skills, which really include their knowledge of the service standards, person-centered IPP writing. There's a 3-part series that they have been trained on and will continuously have refreshers on. Of course, the Lanterman Act, and then also the self-determination program. Also, it is really important that we continue to educate not only our staff, but also our families about the resources that we have available. So we would be continuing to provide all these learning opportunities through town hall meetings, presentations. We conduct a lot of outreach. I've said this in our board meetings. I'm very proud that I believe in this calendar year, the outreach team has scheduled 275 outreach events. So they are very busy. These include resource fairs. We also have videos that are short. We understand that everybody is very busy, but we have short form videos with just a nugget of very pertinent information. And we also disseminate a lot of informational materials through the consumer and family guides and common services brochures that we have available. We also recently unleashed a series of very short videos called the Parent University videos. And this really helps parents as they navigate their regional center journey and really speaks to the whole process and about the services that we provide. So we really encourage you guys to go on our website to be able to access those videos. I know our team has put in a lot of effort for those. And then, of course, targeted community outreach is extremely important to ensuring that children remain in the home setting. Our outreach language specialists really focus on outreach to early education centers, to local school districts, and then also community-based organizations that specifically cater to children and their families. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. The next slide is similar. It is very, very important. The next several slides will actually deal with ensuring the goal is to increase the percentage of adults who reside in independent living. The overarching goal is we want to ensure that our consumer population reside in home settings. And one such way is to ensure that our adults reside in independent living settings. And some of the different services that we provide include independent living services, which include instructors that come into the family home to work on skills like cooking, cleaning, budgeting. This is actually to provide training so that the individual served is able to do this independently over time. And the service is supposed to be time limited. The other service we provide is also personal assistance. This is different in that it is ongoing and it provides direct hands-on ways to support daily living activities. And these are just some of the activities, services that we provide. With all that being said, the activities that we are going to continue to embark on to ensure that there are a higher percentage of adults residing in independent living include just empowering independence. This is crucial to the work that we do at Regional Center, really using that person-centered approach to ensure that consumers and families are able to access resources and information regarding different services that we provide that focus on client independence in the least restrictive setting within their communities. As service coordinators receive training, we are also providing a lot of learning opportunities for our consumers and their families through, again, a series of public meetings, presentations such as these, outreach, community engagement events, and also a dissemination of materials. Again, we are going to be focusing on education and engagement, which is central. Service coordinators attend various events such as vendor fairs and generic resource fairs to gain knowledge on services and supports available to assist adults residing independently within their community. We've held a series of these vendor fairs and generic resource fairs, which were really, really well attended. We are highly appreciative of the community-based organizations that we partner with, the vendors that work so hard with our community that have come to these fairs to enable our staff to really understand their services and understand the referral process. We also have our transition department attend events such as the local Life After High School resource fairs to provide services available to adult consumers. We want to ensure that we provide culturally competent outreach. So our outreach language specialists do share a lot of information about independent living and adult services to families through culturally competent outreach events. Next slide. The next slide depicts data for the number and percentage of adults residing in supported living. The goal is to increase the percentage of adults who reside in supported living. And again, what you will see central to a lot of these goals is the focus on person-centered planning and training, also education about the resources that we provide and resource. So supported living services, just a really quick snapshot for those of you that might not be as familiar with those services, is more long-term. It is ongoing. It provides more flexible support. It assists with personal care such as bathing, household management such as budgeting, cooking, health and safety such as med management. Some of the things that we as the community and also staff are going to be embarking on to make sure that we increase this percentage is to again ensure that we have person-centered support, that our staff continuously learn to be more person-centered and encourage our consumers and families to be able to access resources and information regarding various services and supports that promote client independence, as well as training and resource sharing. Service coordinators, again, are going to be presenting in a variety of different forums, community engagement events, And again, the vendor fairs and the generic resource fairs have been so critical in our staff just really knowing the plethora of services available to be able to disseminate that information also to our families. And then culturally inclusive outreach, which is similar to what the activities that we had previously talked about for independent living. However, this would be focused on supported living. Next slide. And thank you. So for this particular slide, it depicts the number and percentage of adults residing in adult family home agency homes. And so for those of you that are not aware of what family home agencies are, what they are is they are agencies that contract with caregivers in private homes that are able to really offer that home environment to an adult individual served. So it's a different model than the other ones that we've talked about earlier in this presentation. The goal is to increase the percentage of adults who reside in adult family home agencies. So some of the activities that we will be engaging in are very similar to the other ones that we had stated. However, these are focused towards, again, educating about the resources for adult family home agencies and the availability of those services. I'm going to go ahead and move on to slide 5. And slide 5 speaks to the number and percentage of adults residing in family homes, in their own family home with a parent, with a guardian, perhaps with a sibling. So the goal is to maintain the percentage of adults living in their family homes. And again, the activities are very similar because we do believe that in order to affect change, it is pertinent. It is extremely crucial for us to emphasize the need for person-centered support, training, and then also community-based outreach. Again, the difference here is that we are going to be providing more information as it pertains to residing in the family home. What services are applicable to ensuring that the adult can stay with their family members in that home. Some of these services include coordinated family supports, which we will go over more in a later slide. Let's go on to slide 6. So for slide 6, it is a summary of the previous slides for adults living in home settings. So as you can see here, it depicts the data for all the different types of home settings that are available. And the goal is to increase the percentage of adults who reside in home settings as a whole. So it's the total cumulative amount. We definitely want to make sure that adults, despite the various settings, are in a home setting. Some of the goals, the activities that we have come up with to target this very important goal is to continue to offer independent living services, supported living services, and family support to assist caregivers with care and supervision in these home settings. There is a new service offering, and we have vendored 14 providers already for coordinated family supports. This is a new service. It's designed to support adults living in the family home. These supports include respite and personal assistance, skill building and community access, family training and coaching, help with medical appointments and crisis planning, and linking to generic resources. So some may be wondering, how is that different from some of the other services that we provide? So unlike independent living services, which are time limited and focus only on skill training, or supported living services, which supports an individual in their own home, coordinated family supports is ongoing and it's more family-centered. It sustains caregiving in the home, and it is a bundle of services through one provider. The other thing that we will be focusing on is to definitely, I actually spoke to all of that, sorry. We can go ahead and go to the next slide. I'm happy to report we do not have many minors living in facilities, and this is definitely something that we want to keep at zero or closest to zero as possible. So the goal is to decrease the percentage of minors who reside in facilities. We want to, and the goal is for our member communities to reside in homes. That is best correlated with health outcomes. With all that being said, some of the activities that we will continuously embark on to address this goal is the person-centered services, to just be able to ensure that consumers and families will be able to access these resources, to ensure that our consumers stay in the least restrictive settings. Also, what is crucially important is in-home support options. So there are times when, unfortunately, there are some minors who may default to other settings because families feel ill-equipped to work to assist their family members, their minor children. And what we do offer is the behavioral intervention services that we can provide in home. So it's really important that our staff are also educating our families about the availability of these services. And then also other family support services such as respite, personal assistance, and also daycare, which can assist to make it much easier for the family as a unit to be able to support their minor child. Education and outreach is always crucial for us at North LA, and this is going to be a theme that you'll see throughout. So we will continuously provide information as to the services and supports that are available to ensure minors can stay in their homes. Next slide. So this slide depicts data for the number and percentage of adults living in facilities. The goal, again, is to decrease the percentage of adults who reside in facilities to have no more than 6 individuals. Reside in facilities that that serve more than 7 individuals. So the activities that we have come up with to address this particular goal is, again, very similar to the previous goals, which really focus on person-centered services, in-home support options, again, that behavioral support, and really just knowing about all the different supports that we provide to the consumer and also to their families to help support having that family member in the home is incredibly important. And then, of course, outreach in a variety of different ways just to make sure that information can be accessed. Next slide. So for this next slide, what you will see here is the percentage of adults. The goal, let's speak to the goal. The goal is to increase the percentage of adult consumers that are employed in integrated settings with competitive wages. We want to make sure that they are out in the community along with the general community and also receiving wages that are akin with their peers. The activities that we will be embarking on include employment, data, and partnerships. So our employment specialists, we have to collect data on integrated employment and employment opportunities for consumers, as well as paid internship programs by partnering with service providers. I also wanted to report that for the total purchase of service for fiscal year 24 and 25, just a quick one that I want to share, that NLARC came in as it was ranked 2 in as compared to all other regional centers in this state. We also will be hosting trainings and workshops for individuals, families, and providers on employment services and supports. We also have customized our career support. So some of the things that we have done is we've vendored with 7 coordinated career pathways providers. This is a new service to support individuals with customized employment opportunities. As this is a new service, many of you may ask what this looks like and how this may be different from other services. Coordinated career pathways align regional centers, schools, and the Department of Rehabilitation supports into one career plan. So services include career exploration, training, job coaching, and then also navigating systems that are often very, very complex for our individuals served and their families. And their goal is to ensure that our individuals served receive competitive integrated employment that is long-term. We have also offered and trained 97 DSP providers on ACRE training to offer customized employment planning. ACRE stands for the Association of Community Rehabilitation Educators Training. It's nationally recognized certificate program for employment specialists and job coaches who support our community, people with developmental disabilities, in finding competitive and integrated jobs. This training covers discovery, job development, workplace supports, and career advancements. So that is another thing that we are also continuing to advocate for. Next slide. So this slide, the data shows the indicator showing the relationship between annual authorized services and expenditures by individuals, residence type, and race and ethnicity. The goal for this and the goal for subsequent slides, I think the subsequent next slides, is to ensure that consumers and families have access to services and supports regardless of age, diagnosis, ethnicity, or language. What you will see in some of the subsequent slides is how we are reporting on some of these things. So I will go over the activities that we are going to continuously work on to ensure that our families have access to services and supports to minimize disparity. With all that being said, the slides in and of itself just show they show data of how we're achieving that a little bit differently. Some of the activities that we're going to be embarking in include cultural competency and staff support. That's extremely important, just to ensure that there are resources for our diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging e-resource library to better serve our diverse communities and support our service coordinators. We also have family support and service access. We do have a hotline. I want to make sure that everybody is aware of this hotline because I know that in another public forum, individuals have asked about this. The PFSS hotline stands for Parent and Family Support Specialist Hotline. What it does is it assists, it's a dedicated service to assist families and caregivers of individuals served by North LA with navigating services, accessing resources, and answering questions about regional center programs. So you can definitely call that. I believe the phone number for that is on our main page. Ongoing staffing efforts to ensure every family has a dedicated service coordinator for IPP planning is definitely going to be central. We also provide multilingual support groups in all the threshold languages within our community and educational forums to further empower families to navigate the regional center system effectively. Other things that we're going to be continuously doing that we already do is community education and engagement. We are offering educational opportunities for our Spanish-speaking families quarterly. We also have monthly forums and presentations on a diverse number of topics, and then multilingual support groups, again, in all the different threshold languages as they pertain to our community. We also have the annual festival educational event to help families stay informed and connected to regional center services. As many of you know, I am a newer ED and I have not had the opportunity to attend, but I do know this is incredibly well received and is a celebration of the diversity within our community. So I encourage when that activity or that event comes up that all of you join in as well. I am going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. The next slide depicts the percentage of total annual purchase of service expenditures by individuals, race, ethnicity, and age. Again, the goal is the same, and the activities that we are going to be targeting to ensure that we reach this goal is the same. This data is comprehensive because it depicts a different part of the goal, and that is why it is spread out in different slides. Moving on to slide 13. Slide 13 is the number and percent of individuals receiving only case management services. So it's the low to no POS. Purchase of service category, and this is depicted by race, ethnicity, and age. Again, the goal is the same and the activities are therefore the same as well, but we want to track exactly how our low to no POS population is improving with these activities. I'm going to go ahead and move on to goal 14. Goal 14, sorry, it's page 14. 13 is per capita purchase of service expenditures by individuals' primary language. The primary languages are featured there. Those are our threshold languages. And the activities that we are going to be partaking in we are going to be focusing in on how crucial it is for bilingual staffing. So we are prioritizing bilingual service coordinators to better assess and implement services align with the cultural and linguistic needs of individuals and their families. We really want to make sure that our outreach is culturally competent and responsive, and that we have support groups in threshold languages so that families feel comfortable speaking in their preferred language and also be able to speak about things maybe more specific to their particular culture and what's emerging in their communities. So we're going to continue with those activities. Moving on to public, so 14 shows public policy measures related to reducing disparities and improving equity in purchase of service. And again, the goal is the same. For the activities, it is incredibly important for us to have that enhanced service coordination. Enhanced service coordination currently is provided for we do provide bilingual enhanced service coordination in Spanish and Armenian. This caseload is reduced to 1 to 40 to really help families understand and access services. This is for individuals served that are receiving low to no purchase of services. What we were hoping is that while we are able to be more sensitive to some of their cultural and language preferences, we are able to overcome any barriers to accessing more services. And then, of course, we have culturally responsive outreach in our threshold languages. And then language-specific support groups also speak to the diversity within our community and addressing some of those specific community needs. And the last slide does not have a goal because those are our compliance measures. So those are our audit compliance measures listed. So with that, I have finished speaking about the different activities that we will be embarking on for fiscal year 25-26. We really do appreciate the input from our community. We are going to open it up for question and answer right now. And then also, of course, as Sylvia had said at the beginning, we highly encourage everybody to fill out that survey because your feedback is so crucially important to us.